Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to our team building thing. I mean, our team building training, not our team building thing. We're gonna kind of jimmy rig this a little bit. I have this screen sharing thing that is recording me, and I'm just gonna turn my camera on so I can look at the camera, enjoy it, get to look at my pretty face for the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever this training will turn out to be. But welcome. We're super excited that you're getting involved with camp. And it's going to be a great time. This is our team building training. We are going to be talking about effective ways to build teams here, which is super important because we want you to try to really build a cohesive team with the people that you'll be working with before the campers get to camp, if at all possible. If you're in the July week, we have sent out the teams that you're on. Please communicate with them, get together, plan activities that you want to do with your campers. Activities are more or less planned, but we're going to get together and, for example, I'm in the purple group, repping the purple. We're going to get together and plan the different types of props we want to bring to camp, the different types of kind of like coordinate theme days, because there are 5 theme days that we do at camp. Let me show you. Actually, I'll just read them to you. Give me a second while I pull those up. The first day is a PJ day, which is going to be super sick. The kids are going to show up to camp in PJs because the theme this year is Dare to Dream. So we're going to have like this little dream sequence where the campers come in and they pretend to be asleep, and we're going to wake them up and they're going to emerge into like this dream world of camp, because we want them to recognize that camp really is a place where they can dream, where those dreams that they have can become a reality. We're not only trying to provide a place where these kids can escape from cancer, but we're trying to empower them throughout the rest of the year and to teach them that they can achieve their dreams because of who they are. When you meet these kids, you'll understand what I'm saying. They are absolutely phenomenal children, and I think you're going to be blown away at the caliber of people they are, and I have full confidence that any one of them can achieve their dream, whatever they choose to do. So I'm pumped for the theme this year. On Monday, it's PJs/camp shirts. So I think we're going to be giving you camp shirts to wear. I think ours are purple this year, actually. So enjoy that. Yeah, the purple shirts are sick. And PJs. Tuesday is a Zootopia day. Wednesday is Moana. Thursday is a Peter Pan or Neverland day. Friday is a Toy Story day, and Saturday is camp shirts again. Okay? These theme days are a big deal. When I first got involved with camp, I had no idea what to expect for theme days, and I went and I was completely underdressed for every day. Like, kids go so hard. So please feel free to go get a little bit of crazy with theme days, get real pumped. They are super, super cool. And the coolest costumes I think are going to win prizes this year. So there's some motivation to do well. Anyway, let's talk about team building. Really, the trick with this training is that we do a lot of like activities, and there's only so many activities you and I can do over a camera. And by so many, I mean there are 0. But know that I care about you. Winnie is my for volunteer that I work with, are super excited to work with you. We've met many of you. I've talked to many of you on the phone if I haven't met you. And we care for you already. You're going to have a tremendous, tremendous time. As a part of our team building thing, we have for our July campers, or camp, we have our pre-camp pump up, which is going to be Thursday the 29th. Put that into your calendars. It will be at 7:30 p.m. at Kiwanis Park. We have, or will, depending on when you watch this video, we're going to say have. We have sent out an email about that. Please come. It's going to be a really, really awesome opportunity to have some snacks, to get pumped for camp, and to meet a camper family. We're going to talk with them about cool things that they've seen that their counselors have done in the past, so you guys can get some ideas generated for what you want to do. And I'm sorry, I misspoke. This is for everyone involved with camp. whether you're in July or August. This is our pre-camp pump-up activity. It's going to be sick. Come meet some new people. Come hang out with some people. And get ready for camp. July's camp is in 2 weeks from Sunday. And I am so pumped. So pumped. And then August camp is in more or less a month and a half, which is also really, really cool. It's coming up real quick. So I hope you guys are excited. So let's see. So the purposes of this session are to bring people together and get them used to working with each other. We're supposed to do icebreakers and get to know you activities. It's hard to do that. So I'm going to do like a little icebreaker with you guys so you can get to know me. My name is Dimes or Taylor, whatever. I have been working with Camp Kesem for 3 years. Call me Dimes. At camp, if you call me Taylor, I will make you kiss a tree. That's what you have to do at camp when you call someone by the real name and not their camp name. You've been warned. The trees get more action at camp than I do. There's your little joke for the day. Now I feel really lame because I'm the only one laughing at my joke, and if you don't laugh, I'm going to feel awkward. I'll never know, actually, so just don't tell me. Just don't tell me. Anyway, I've been involved with Camp Kesem for 3 years. I graduated from BYU in 2016. This is my third year going to camp. I am super, super excited. This is the highlight of my summer, without a doubt. It was the highlight of my last summer too, and I went to Europe for 2 weeks. So that tells you how much I love camp. It's a pretty big deal. I am currently applying to medical school, hoping to matriculate in the fall of 2018. I am going to be taking some online classes this fall, calculus, a couple psychology classes, just in case med school does not work out. And really it's an excuse for me to do camp one more year because I love this organization with all my heart. And I hope that you have the same experience that I had, just a life-changing experience. It is the best. Just a little shout out for cord board applications. We've sent those applications out to anyone who is interested. If you're interested in applying to be on the coordination board and working on planning camp for next year, please apply. It has been one of the most, that also has been a super rewarding experience. It is a lot of work, but it is tremendously rewarding. Some of my greatest friends have come from doing cord board. So I view all of them as family. They are tremendous people. So we would love to have you. Please shoot an application in. We'll be doing cord board selections after the second week of camp in August. Also, fun fact, if you're interested, our cord board meetings are now open. You're more than welcome to come join us for cord board, see what we do, see if you'd be interested in applying. Cord board's kind of craziest right around this time of year. Things rev up quite a bit as we get ready for camp. We've got lots of stuff to print, lots of forms to fill, lots of trainings to record, as you can tell. So come. It's a super sick opportunity to kind of get outside of yourself and get involved in some really, really rewarding service. And the people are great too. Anyway, that's me. I hope you know a little bit more about me. Oh, I've got two sisters. One is 24. I am 26. And then the youngest is 19. And what else do you want to know about me? I currently tutor for the MCAT, and I'm working up at LDS Business College as an associate professor. It sounds cooler than it is, but it's just kidding. I love that job. It's super, super fun. So it is actually not cooler than it sounds. It is cooler than it sounds, actually. Lots of fun. So the big thing that we hope that you learn from this training is how to work together in a team to make a camp happen. Let me give you a hypothetical scenario. But first I'm going to remind you about one of our huge rules at camp, the rule of 3. This in essence means there need to be 3 people together at all times. If you're with a camper, that means either 1 camper and 2 counselors, or 2 campers and 1 counselor. This is to keep you safe, this is to keep your camper safe, and it's to keep the organization safe from any lawsuits. We always have a witness. Okay? This is just a thing they put together at the national level. So, with that in mind, I want you to picture a scenario. When you close your eyes, imagine you're at the 3rd day of camp. Things are pretty crazy. You've slept like 5 hours each night. You've had a crazy amount of fun. You've gotten to know some really cool kids. But you know that one of your kids is a runner. Okay, runners at camp are kids that will stay with the group. You'll be headed somewhere, like let's say to lunch, and all of a sudden you've got a runner, and they just take off. Just, see you, bye. There he goes. One of your campers is headed off, done. What do? You've got 3 counselors in your group. You, your co-counselor, and another counselor, and you're just like, well, freak, what do we do? What do you do? This is the important part of team building, okay? If you build a strong team, it's almost like you can read each other's minds. You know what I mean. 2 of you will need to go off with that camper to maintain rule of 3, bring them back. The other one will need to call on the walkie-talkie. Each group will have a walkie-talkie to admin, asking the admin to come support that group until you can get back. That way everyone is safe, our campers feel safe, and we maintain that rule of 3 ratio. Things like that happen a lot at camp. Stay on your feet because things get a little wild. Things get a little crazy. There's this massive hill at camp, like this huge steep hill. It's where we have this really sick swing at camp where you strap these kids in, and you in essence grab this rope. You've strapped them into this rope in a harness to this rope that's gone up and looped around some pulley system and comes back down. And you grab 10 people on this rope and you haul the camper up the side of this mountain, and you give them a rope. And in essence, what they do is you haul them up the side of the mountain, and then they let go and they swing. And it's super cool. It's like a giant swing. But because there's this massive hill there, kids love to run up the hill. I don't know what it is about hills and being in groups, but kids will just love to run away from their groups and just sprint up this hill. Some kids will go up this hill and they'll get stuck, and then they'll be too scared to come back down. And then we got a situation because it's okay, how do we get you up this hill? It's really fun. Fun stuff happens at camp. The hill's great. And there are some more dangerous things at camp. There's this silly, stupid seesaw thing that I wish they would take down. It's like a teeter-totter, just like a piece of wood that kids love to climb on. And one kid will jump on, and then you have to be careful or else all of them will jump off, and the thing will swing up and nail some kid in the chin, and somebody will fall to the ground on the other side. And it's just crazy. Lots of stuff happens at camp, and a strong team will help prevent those scenarios. I realize that I'm kind of rambling. We have a sort of time limit on this. I apologize. Watch it at double speed if you want. But team building is super important. You've probably done several of these trainings. The biggest thing we want you to do is kind of develop trust with the counselors that you work with. Okay? Here are some getting to know you games. You're supposed to set goals and be creative and find commonalities and differences. Here are some games that you can do to build teams. Okay. So you see how a lot of this stuff requires icebreakers and get to know you games and working together and things like that. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Sorry, I was thirsty. Yeah, this is kind of tricky to do. Yes, a couple things that we'd encourage you to do when you get to camp is start working together on team building. Okay, so maybe what you can do. Let me give you a couple things that you could do. Some things that I've really enjoyed, team building wise, with the people that I've worked with. Talking about kind of your strengths and your weaknesses is super helpful. For example, I'm a pretty outgoing person. I like to have lots of fun, like to tell lots of jokes. I'm pretty loud, but I am not super quiet. Obviously, I'm not super quiet. However, there are some campers that respond really well to a more quiet type of counselor. And I can't reach those campers as well as, say, another counselor who's better at that. I recommend kind of finding out what you could do to or discussing with your counselors, kind of finding out where their strengths lie. Is there a quiet or a more quiet counselor, more relaxed? Is there a more high energy counselor? Who's going to be responsible for entertaining the kids? Who's going to be responsible for kind of sitting with the homesick kids? Who's going to kind of maybe not be responsible, but kind of be in charge of that? And who's got, in essence, we want you to maximize the talents that you have in each group. Okay? Super important thing. And I think now I'm going to tell you some. Let me go through a couple of things that you'll need teamwork for at camp. For example, on every night we have a staff meeting. So we've got staff meeting every night at camp. And staff meeting is super important. We talk about announcements for the next day. It's a time to decompress, kind of grab some snacks from the counselor cabin. We will have snacks in like a counselors only area. It's really nice. There will be tons of caffeine because you're going to need it. Anyway, and this is important. And what will happen is each group will have a unit leader. A unit leader is someone who's responsible for carrying the walkie-talkie, kind of carrying the first aid kit, and being kind of the point of contact with admin, the people who are responsible for overseeing camp. These are the directors and one of the operations coordinators who's kind of planned camp, and the national representative. Great group of people. Unit leaders will be responsible for that. They have to go to staff meeting every night. And you guys will kind of have to decide in between as counselors when or who's going to go to staff meeting that night. The unit leader will go, and one of the other counselors is supposed to go too, leaving one counselor in the cabin with the rest of the campers. That's not super hard. We try to run the kids pretty ragged, allow them to fall asleep. The teens will stay up later. I remember, okay, short story. Hopefully it's entertaining. I was with the teens last year, super good group of kids, and on Friday night, they're like, we're staying up all night, we're going to do it, yeah, it's going to be sick. We're just like, okay, guys, like, whatever. At this point at camp, we're just like, just don't kill anybody, and we don't care. Cool. The teens are trustworthy. They're good kids. Anyway, we stay up till 4 o'clock that night because we do something called paper plate awards. Paper plate awards are little awards we give the campers on Saturday morning, discussing or just awards we give the campers. For example, we gave one of our campers the Ken Garf Award, and it had like some really big ears on it, like the billboards, because she's such a great listener. Stuff like that. And you'll make those paper plate awards with the other members of your group on Friday night after staff meeting while someone stays in the cabin. And so we roll back up to the cabin at like 4 p.m. and the kids are still up partying, and we're just like, shoot, man, we're going to bed. And I wake up the next morning, it's like 6 in the morning, I've had 2 hours of sleep. I'm like trying to rub the sleep out of my eyes, and I'm just like, oh gosh, kill me now. Ugh, how am I even moving? And I walk outside, and one of my campers runs up to me, and like with the group of boys behind him, like the 7 or 8 that stayed up all night, and they're like, Dimes, we did something bad. And immediately my heart rate goes from like 60 to like 170. I'm like, oh my gosh, who'd they kill? What happened? And this kid named Lemonhead started telling me about, he was so exhausted last night. They had been playing cards outside at like 5 in the morning. So exhausted, he starts heading back up to the cabin to go like sit down. He walks into this cabin and he's like, oh man, I'm exhausted. And he sits on the ground and he sits there for like 5 minutes. Just kind of like this. And he starts looking around and he realizes that, holy crap, I don't know where I am. And he looked around and he realized that he was in a cabin full of 6-year-olds, dead asleep. He like stands up off the ground and really slowly backs out of the cabin and closes the door. It was super funny at the time. Maybe it's because I had 2 hours of sleep, but I'd laughed my head off because Lemonhead wouldn't do that. And it was just really funny to think of this teenager sitting in a cabin full of 6-year-olds who, if you wake up, they're not going back to bed. They're not going to go back to bed. It could have been a disaster. And yeah, it was bad. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that story. The point that I wanted to raise by bringing up staff meeting is you need to take turns. If you've got a strong team, you can tell who's a little burned out, who needs to spend a little bit more time with the counselors to kind of recharge. You can tell who's feeling a little bit better. Open, honest communication is really important in between yourselves. Another area that you'll need teamwork is taking breaks, right? So you are mandated by nationals to take an hour break each day. It will be a very sacred time for you. You can go chill in the counselor cabin, drink a bunch of caffeine. You can go take a nap for an hour. You can go shower. You can do a whole bunch of stuff, okay? And you'll need to coordinate with your group and decide when you're going to take your breaks. No one is allowed to take breaks during lunch, just FYI. And no one will be allowed to take breaks during water activities, okay? So those are just a few examples of why teamwork is so important with your campers. Normally we would play a whole bunch of games with this training because in essence it is a team building training. We're here to, we would be playing games, but we can't do that. So thanks for listening to me ramble, and really appreciate it. Reach out to the teams that you're working with. We've sent out a document already to anyone involved with camp in July. We will be having a counselor reveal for you counselors in August, a few weeks before camp, so you can meet your team and get rolling, get planning. Guys, it's gonna be fun. Get pumped. It's gonna be super sick. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please let me know if you have any questions. And yeah, that's all I really have. Have a good one.